Hi there, I'm Lisa Thompson, author of The Great Escape, A Girl's Guide to Leaving a Marriage. Thank you for joining me today. Today I am talking about parental alienation syndrome, a serious topic. I'm going to share with you basically what it is, what are the signs, and how to respond to parental alienation if you are feeling that you are being victimized in this way. So first of all, if you've never heard of parental alienation, and I'm sure you have or you wouldn't be tuning in now, I would best describe it as it's gone a step beyond one parent bashing the other parent, and it turns into one parent actually brainwashing the children against the other parent. The parent that's doing the brainwashing and bashing is the alienator, and the other parent that's being attacked is the target. So basically, I think what's important to understand in this subject is that there are different degrees of parental alienation, and there could be extreme alienation where when you hear these stories in the news where one parent actually abducts the child and moves them out of the country and basically takes the child completely away from the other parent. So that would be your most extreme case. But it can also be a very mild, in comparison to that, on the other end of the spectrum, a milder case of alienation. However, even mild cases of alienation can be very devastating for the target parent. And when I say mild, I'm talking about maybe a little more of a subtle situation where the alienating parent is bad-mouthing the other parent, and the target parent notices changes in the children, very distinct changes, but it's very difficult to prove. And she can't turn around and say, well, but he must be bad-mouthing me to the children because they're different. And therein lies the difficulty in actually defining and proving alienation. So, but we're not really talking about proving it. I think what we need to look at now are the signs so that we can understand a little bit better if our situation would be defined by parental alienation. So first, the signs in the children I'd like to talk about. The children show no gratitude to the target parent. So no matter what you do for your children, you may take them out shopping, you may take them on a holiday, and eventually those holidays they will tell you they don't want to go with you. But you can put all this effort in, and you're hanging on, and you're trying to maintain this relationship with your children, and they're showing absolutely no gratitude in return. And so that's I think one of the first signs. They just are sort of uninterested, and they stop appreciating the things that you're doing for them, and it could be little things like you're doing their laundry, or you're driving them to school, or you're taking them on a holiday. It doesn't matter how grand the gesture or how small the gesture that you're showing to your children. They don't see it, and they don't thank you. Number two, I'm not numbering these, excuse me. Children, they'll show an uncommon concern for one parent only. And you can guess which parent that is. So the children will all of a sudden be very, very concerned for, let's say, the father. And at the same time, they have no gratitude towards the mother. It's very, very unusual behavior in children to have an uncommon concern for one parent and a total disregard for another. So that's not a good sign. The children suddenly parrot adult language. So if you start hearing your children making statements that just don't seem appropriate for that age, you can conclude that they've heard the statement from their other parent, or other adults in their lives. It could be as well, but we're focusing really on the other parent at this point. For example, you may have your child say to you, well, why don't you pay child support? Or, well, why don't you pay for our private school? And, you know, quite frankly, a 10-year-old, just a normal 10-year-old does not concern himself with those kind of questions. So just to give you an example, that's parroting. Okay, moving on. The children are afraid and become very anxious about spending time with you or with the target parent. So if you're the target parent, you'll start to notice that the children are very uneasy about coming to your house. They actually even become anxious. They may call you the day before they're supposed to come to your house, and they may try to tell you that they can't come to your house, and when you ask them why, they don't really know why, and they can't say why, but you can hear the anxiousness in their voice. Again, that is not normal child behavior, and even if we're talking about adolescence, it's just not really a normal way to behave. The children will show disregard, even disrespect, for the target parent's family, so extended family, so maybe aunts and uncles, maybe grandparents even, and for the target parent's friends. Suddenly the children don't really respond or want to see maybe even an old friend of the target parents. So just a very unusual and sort of a change from when you think about when you were in an intact family. It's unlikely that your children would have disrespected or felt disregard towards their aunts and uncles or their grandparents, unless you weren't close. But I'm thinking, you know, you can see that you can see the changes starting to happen, and even pets can be targeted for this kind of disrespect. The child views the other parent as perfect. So if there's a disagreement between the two of you on an issue, or if the other parent has done something that is inappropriate, the child will not see it. They will 100% take the side of the alienating parent, unfortunately. But again, that's not normal child behavior, to feel that their parent is perfect. But you have to remember that what the other parent is telling them is they're building themselves up, and they're reminding the children of all the things they do for them. And this is partly why the child starts to view that parent as perfect, because that parent's always reminding them of all of their perfection, of their perceived perfection, and all the things they do for them. So you can see how it's not the child's fault, but these are the manifestations. They profess their decisions are theirs. So this is my last sign in the children. They will tell you that they've decided that they don't want to see you. It's all their decision. And they will insist that no matter what age. And I think that that is also a sign of, I mean, it's just not natural for a child to not want to see their parent. Just not natural at all. So you know that there is something not right about that. So those are the top signs in the children. Now I'd just like to go over a couple of signs that the other parent is targeting you. So these are the signs that the other parent is an alienator. Number one, they show increasing possessiveness toward the children. So this may be they call the children every single day that they're with you. So if you're the targeted parent, when the children are with you and your time is precious with them, that other parent, the alienating parent, does not respect that. They call and they make plans when the children are with you. They don't want to lose any contact with the children, because part of their thing is to have continuous contact and continuous impression on the children. Number two, the children do become the messengers. So the alienator starts to send messages for you through the children. Number 3, they show little, the parent, the alienating parent shows little or no regard for your time with the children. So really just a complete disrespect for the parenting arrangement, disrespect for your time with the children, as their mother, as their father. This is not normal behavior. It's not normal. Okay, next, the parent may also enlist family and friends on their mission. And the way they do this is they will have their family and friends also make plans with the children on your time. If you were to ask the children, do you see, you know, aunt and uncle when you're with your dad? And they say no. But aunt and uncle call when the children are with you. I think it's pretty safe to conclude that the alienator has recruited other people, other family members and friends to spend time with his children when they should be with you. Okay, next, the parent will insist that the children are autonomous and that they can decide for themselves what they want to do. Yeah, so, you know, and this could be with 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, all of a sudden that alienating parent says, that's okay, it's up to them. They make their own decisions now and they don't want to see you. This is very common and a very bad sign, and also typically this is the parent that had very strict rules at one time and now they don't have rules. Now the children can do what they want. It's not, doesn't make any sense. So one thing I want to mention at this point quickly is to be careful not to mistake typical teenage behavior as alienating. Okay, that is an important point that I also make in my book, but this is my resource, my Bible, Divorce Poison, by Dr. Richard A. Warshak, and he discusses that as well, and I have taken some points, some questions that, ask yourself some questions about the behavior that's going on and try and identify whether, first of all, are these symptoms chronic or are they temporary? So in other words, do these behaviors happen all the time? Are you seeing these signs in the children all the time, or is it just, has it just suddenly been, you know, for the last week or two? Number 2, does the behavior coexist with genuine expressions of love and affection? So are they behaving kind of badly, your children, but they're also still at the same time showing genuine affection towards you as their parent? Think about that. Number 3, does the rejecting behavior only happen in certain situations, or does it happen all the time? Is the behavior and attitude frequent, or is it occasional? Is the behavior directed only at you, or is the behavior directed at both of the parents? So you can see how, you know, answering these few questions will sort of help you decipher between alienating behavior and normal behavior. I mean, if it's only happening once in a while, and if they still are showing genuine love and affection for you as their parent, that's a good sign. And if the rejecting behavior is only happening once in a blue moon, like maybe they just didn't want to go to that wedding, or there was some occasion that they just didn't want to go to, that's very normal for a teenager. And also, if this attitude and behavior is only occasional, well, that's normal too. I mean, it's when it starts happening constantly that you have to be concerned. And if that behavior is directed at both of you as parents, mother and father, well, then that says quite a bit about the fact that one parent is not, you know, coercing or causing these kind of problems, that the problems are coming from within the child. So anyway, those are some important things to think about before you get too upset or excited about the behavior of your kids. Teenage years are tough. Okay, so, you know, the last thing I want to talk about, and I think very important, is how to respond. I mean, if you know, after all of this and the reading you've done and listening to these signs, if you're convinced that you are on the receiving end of alienation, it's a very important and very scary position to be in. So what I recommend for responding to the situation is, number 1, start talking openly right away. So I know in the past what the advice had always been, you know, take the high road. Don't talk about your ex in front of the children, which in most cases is obviously a good rule to go by. Take the high road. Just, you know, keep showing them love and that's great. But you have to start talking to the children. You have to start telling them your truth. You have to, because your silence will be misunderstood as interpreting the other parent's statements as truth. And the other parent is making up stories. So you need to always be focused on the facts, focused on what's really going on, and just being very open with the kids. And you know, it's not, and that doesn't mean sitting them down and saying, you know, your father or your mother is a complete asshole. No, as much as we'd like to do that, we can't do that. But it's focusing on maybe the positive and reminding them of, and always trying to remind them of the facts and your truth. That's important. So start talking. Number 2, make a point of reminiscing with the kids on your positive and good memories that you've shared together in the past. This is quite powerful. So you can either with photo albums, videos, or just stories. Sometimes, you know, maybe when you're saying goodnight to them at night is a nice time to just sit and unwind and consciously think up of some really great memories that you have of them when they were younger. And just, you know, you can just start the conversation with them. Do you remember that time when you did whatever and blah, blah, blah. And the chances are they're gonna go back and go, oh yeah, I remember that, and they're gonna smile and they're gonna laugh, and it's going to remind them basically that you guys have had a good relationship. Okay, so that's a good tactic to try to do that often, and also it will counteract the brainwashing that's going on. So the definition of brainwashing is washing out all the past out of the brain, and so that they don't have those past memories anymore. And, you know, cults do it, religious cults. And that's what the alienating parent is doing essentially, is they are washing out the good memories of you and replacing them with false memories and false information. And they may be taking some facts, but they're twisting them into making them something different than what the reality was. Okay, so you're counteracting that brainwashing. Third and most important, don't let go. Keep hanging on. It's really hard. It's so emotional to go through this and to feel that you are on the receiving end of such disrespect and disloyalty from your own children, and that they have such disregard for your feelings and they have no gratitude. It's very discouraging, and especially when it never was that way before and it's suddenly become that way over the last year or months or whatever it has been. In spite of the pain, the important thing is to not let go of them. So you keep in constant contact, even if you can't see them all the time because they are choosing to not come to see you. You can still contact them through phone, emails, and just keep that contact consistent. Let them know that you're always there, and make a point of trying to see them even though they are saying they don't. Always, I should maybe rephrase that to say, always make sure you let them know how much you love them and how important it is for you to have them in your life, and how important it is your time with them. And that will reassure the kids, and underneath that will reassure them of the truth of your relationship with your children. So I'd like to end on that note, and I really hope that this does help you and help you understand how to handle alienation if it's happening to you, and even more importantly, how to identify it. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and again, if you have any questions or comments, you can contact me through my website at lisathompsonlive.com. And I also, of course, discuss parental alienation in my book, and you can also find that and buy that on my website. So thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, take care.